Hi, I'm Layla Inkin and this is my video on marine plastic pollution. The ocean is said to be Earth's life support, with 97% of the world's water held by the ocean. We rely on it to regulate our climate, absorb carbon dioxide, and it is the number one source of protein for over 1 billion people. However, at the rate we are polluting the ocean with around 12.7 million tonnes of plastic a year, the damage we are doing to marine life in our ecosystem is becoming irreparable. Our actions over the next 10 years will determine the state of the ocean for the next 10,000 years to come. In this video, I'll be telling you everything you need to know about how much damage we are doing to the world around us. This includes things like the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, marine life, and how it impacts humanity. Firstly, I'll talk about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a collection of marine debris in the North Pacific Ocean. Marine debris is a litter that ends up in oceans, seas, and other large bodies of water. The entire Great Pacific Garbage Patch is bounded by the North Pacific subtropical gyre. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration defines a gyre as a large system of swirling ocean currents, although it also refers to the garbage patch as a vortex of plastic waste and debris broken down into small particles in the ocean. The North Pacific subtropical gyre is formed by 4 currents rotating clockwise around an area of 20 million square kilometres: the California Current, the North Equatorial Current, the Kuroshio Current, and the North Pacific Current. The amount of debris in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch accumulates because most of it is not biodegradable. Many plastics, for instance, do not wear down, they simply break into tinier and tinier pieces. For some people, the idea of a garbage patch conjures up images of an island of trash floating on the ocean. In reality, these patches are most entirely made up of tiny bits of plastics called microplastics. Microplastics can't always be seen by the naked eye. Even satellite imagery doesn't show up a garbage patch that giant. The microplastics of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch can simply make the water look like a cloudy soup. The soup is intermixed with larger items such as fishing gear and shoes. The seafloor beneath the Great Pacific Garbage Patch may also be an underwater trash heap. Oceanographers and ecologists recently discovered that about 70% of marine debris actually sinks to the bottom of the ocean. Marine life. In the ocean, the sun breaks down these small plastics into tinier and tinier pieces, a process known as photodegradation. Most of this debris comes from plastic bags, bottle caps, plastic water bottles, and styrofoam cups. Marine debris can be very harmful to marine life in the gyre. For instance, loggerhead sea turtles can often mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, their favourite food. Albatrosses mistake plastic resin pellets for fish eggs and feed them to their chicks, which then die of starvation or ruptured organs. Seals and other marine mammals are especially at risk. They can get entangled in abandoned plastic fishing nets, which are being discarded largely due to the inclement weather and illegal fishing. Seals and other mammals often drown in these forgotten nets, a phenomenon known as ghost fishing. Marine debris can also disturb marine food webs in the North Pacific tropical gyre. As microplastics and other trash collect on or near the surface of the ocean, they block sunlight from reaching the plankton and algae below. Algae and plankton are the most common autotrophs, or producers, in the marine food web. Autotrophs are organisms that can produce their own nutrients from carbon and sunlight. If algae and plankton communities are threatened, the entire food web may change. Animals that feed on algae and plankton, such as fish and turtles, will have less food. If populations of those animals decrease, there will be less food for apex predators such as tuna, sharks, and whales. Eventually, seafood becomes less available and more expensive for people. These dangers are compounded by the fact that plastics both leach out and absorb harmful pollutants. How does marine plastic pollution impact humanity? Despite being one of the most pervasive materials on the planet, plastic and its impact on human health remain poorly understood. In fact, not only do the toxins in plastic affect the ocean, but acting like sponges, they also soak up other toxins from the outside sources before entering the ocean. As these chemicals are ingested by animals in the ocean, this is not good for humans. We as humans ingest contaminated fish and mammals. There are different types of ways that plastic is dangerous for humans. Direct toxicity from plastic comes from lead, cadmium, and mercury. These toxins have also been found in many fish in the ocean, which is very dangerous for humans. Diethylexyl phthalate contained in some plastics is a toxic carcinogen. Other toxins in plastics are directly linked to cancers, birth defects, immune system problems, and childhood developmental issues. Other types of toxic plastics are BPA or health bisphenol A, along with phthalates, which I mentioned before. Both of these are a great concern to human health. BPA is used in many things, including plastic bottles and food packaging materials. Over time, the polymer chains of BPA break down and can enter the human body in many ways, from drinking contaminated water to eating fish that is exposed to broken down toxins. Specifically, BPA is a known chemical that interferes with human hormonal function. Rolf Holden, Associate Professor in the School of Sustainable Engineering at Arizona State University, has studied plastics' adverse effects on humans and thus far concluded that the exact outline of health effects on plastics on humans is almost impossible to determine. This is due to the fact that the problem of plastic contaminations in humans is globally spread. There are almost no unexposed subjects. That being said, it is evident that the chemicals are not healthy for humans. Thank you for listening to the video.